Welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura, and you are watching Thursday Threads. So if you watched our What's Been Going On video, our update video in September, and then our recent one for October, we've had some interesting times. It's one of those, it's been real, it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. I do have to show off something. Bear with me. We told you that my husband's sister passed away. She is less than a month older than I am. And so it was a sudden thing. Reminder to everybody, she was so busy taking care of other people, her husband, late stage Huntington's. She was taking care of him so much she neglected to take care of herself, and it escalated very quickly. David was the executor, and of course his mom and dad, now just his mom because his dad passed away in May of this year. We drove 2 hours up there many times, and a lot of it was because we just didn't feel like her parents, David's parents, Grandma and Grandpa, needed to be going through all the stuff and handling all the, and it's, like I said, it's been really hard anyway, so I can only imagine what it had been like for Mom. But in going through, Jane was a painter. She loved to paint. Now, she was an optometrist. She, I believe, saved my life because she was able to let us know what she thought I had when I first diagnosed, and turned out she was right. But it turned out the paintings that your Mom and Dad had found were not all the paintings that they had in that house. And one of the paintings, and I chose it to be down here in my sewing room, is this one. And I have it on a little art easel. There's a bookcase just at the end of my little table, and that's where it stays. It's something I can look up and see. But I did want to share, and I will probably be trying to share a few more of her paintings. She, and a lot of times she would tell somebody, well, if you just, pay for my supplies. She really enjoyed it, and she was good. So I did want to share that with you. So I shared in the update video that my sewing room's had a complete redo. I have a wall in front of me, and then on the other side of that wall is a pantry and a laundry room, and our hot water heater. And the hot water heater decided to get this hole. 50-gallon water heater, hole, almost halfway. So I had 25 plus gallons of water coming under the wall into my sewing room. And then I have a French door over here, and we had a flood the next weekend, and I had water coming in this way. So we took everything out, and I decided while everything was out, I was going to paint. Now, I haven't finished painting every area, but the sewing room's been in a real flux. With everything that had been going on, I hadn't gotten down here. I have, tinkered with my machine. It does work. Yay. My other machine, it's got a cover on it, so I'm pretty confident that one's all right. But if it's not, well, the embroidery machine I will take to Chattanooga sewing. This one, if it tends to act up or there's a problem, I'll take up to Hyder Hangout. Susan Hyder, great woman, and I love the story behind her business. I'll take this up. She has a woman who comes in, and it's more than reasonable on the price. Saves me quite a bit of money to take a standard machine to Susan's friend. But I don't think she's certified on the embroidery, machine and all the computerized. So that one I take to Sewing Machine Center. And hey, I'll look for any excuse to get up to Cleveland, Tennessee to see Susan and walk around her shop and pet the fabrics. And of course, I'll adopt a few. I don't know about you, but when it's been a while, especially when it's been over a year, it's kind of hard to get back into the swing of things. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to kind of talk you through and hopefully make you feel better about your own, if you're like me. Maybe you're one that you just jump right back into it. I'm not. I got to test the waters, dip the toe in, swirl the toe around a little bit, and slowly get back into it. Because it all feels very unfamiliar to me. So, what am I doing? I have a box. And I have all my little squares. Multiple different colors. And I got to looking at them and I was like... And I've shown y'all this before. I'm quite certain. Where I was just making you don't know what to do, sew some squares together. Well, I'm going to do this again for you. And hopefully won't bore you too much. I have pulled out a really pretty black tonal. And I have this gorgeous batik that I'm going to be using. And then I went to my stash and I found some jelly rolls of batiks. So these, I said this was a good inspiration. And then I know I've got these for anytime I just want to put some squares together. I have plenty of solids and jewel tones. If you remember, I was doing a lot of stars that were black and jewel tones. I've still got a lot of those cut. I still want to get back to those. Definitely one of my UFOs, unfinished objects, or my PhD project half done. So what I'd like to do is have a quilt with a different star in black and jewel tones. So that's all right here. I'm going to set this aside. I pulled out all of my batiks and I went through my jelly rolls and I just cut them in 2.5-inch squares. And I am just going to make me some 4 patches. Just to get myself back into the swing of things. Get myself acclimated back to my machine. And part of it too is everything is a jumble and nothing is where it used to be. I have to relearn where all my things are at. And I know I put them away, but it is when you're in the middle of it that you realize, oh, yeah, I used that a lot. I need to have that right here. I have my lovely little bird, vintage looking, that my son had bought me. I love that. So I've got my little special pin cushion on there. I have my little stack of my squares. I have my gypsy tool. I have my scissors. Back behind me I have my iron, my wonderful Oliso iron. See, this is why I have to do this. There's something on the cord. Anyway, there's my wonderful Oliso iron that when you hold it, the feet come up, and when you put it down, the feet go down so you're not burning anything. I have my little my rotary cutting mat. Trying to think of what I was going to need, but you're never really going to know what you need till you're in the middle of it. So, we're going to turn this on. I have my thread. I want to make sure of what thread I have in here. Yep, that's the standard sewing. No, it's not. I have 100% cotton. See, this is why I need to do this. I remember I was making bowl holders, and that takes 100% cotton because you put them in the microwave. So bear with me while I change out my thread. And this is why I needed to do this. That's why this was so important. I do have my 1/4 inch piecing foot. I'm just going to pull this off. And I'm going to change out my bobbin. But I'm going to put it right over here with that so that I know it's what it is. And I like to keep a stash of wound bobbins. You can buy them pre-wound. I tend to go back and forth. I did order some pre-wound a year or 2, 3 ago from Amazon, and if you check our Amazon store, I'm sure you'll find that in there. I need a thread basket. We'll just put it right there for right now. But note to self, I need a little thread basket, a thread catcher. I do have my thread right where I can get to it. And this is just a Coates & Clark dual duty machine quilting and crafts, 450 yards, mercerized cotton polyester. So let's just go ahead and get that threaded. Oh, I picked up a cream, but that's okay because we're just piecing. Oh, I am going to miss Joann's though, because I did like when they would have their sales, you know, buy 3 get 3 free on their thread. All of this is just so unfamiliar to me. So if you are like me, please don't feel bad. Okay, this is cute. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I almost forgot that. So if you're like me, please don't feel bad if it takes you a minute to get reacclimatized. To go, oh, you know, shoot, what do I do now? I forgot. Alright, note to self, I need to get my little wax candle or something to thread my needle a little bit better. See, this is good because what I'll do is I'll watch this video too and go, oh yeah, I need to do that. And I want to encourage everyone to go over to the Crazy D Ranch in Rabbitry. I am certain you've heard all the brouhaha going on right now in the country. Cancel culture, First Amendment, censorship, the killings, the doxing, and all of that kind of stuff. And David and I, he's starting a new series called My 3 Cents. You know, normally you say, well, I'm going to give my 2 cents worth. Well, because of inflation, we're calling it My 3 Cents Worth. But be sure to check that out. Defining hate speech, defining, you know, what is the Constitution, why it's still important. You hear a lot of people throwing the word fascist around. I saw a video and I loved it because the guy, she was talking about how, about Charlie Kirk, how she did not want that racist fascist on her campus. And he said, okay, I have a quick question. What is a fascist? What is fascism? And she stopped for a minute and says, well, I don't really know. Kudos to her for being honest. Yes, she was honest. But let's talk about that. What is it? You know? So anyway, I'm yammering. Let's get back to business. So I'm just picking out some colors that will go together. This is one I just took off my machine. And I'm going to press that, and I'm going to square it up. But let's just take a few off of out of our stack, and let's just sew them together. And here's the thing. I'm not worrying about them being perfect sized at this moment, because I am going to sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam, and then I'm going to square them up. And that is all I'm going to do today. Just getting back used to the rhythm of the machine and looking at what's in my room and what do I use. I'm not even pinning. And those of you who really know me are probably wondering what is wrong with me, because I'm not pinning. I'm just going to enjoy my afternoon. And I'm just going to put some blocks together, you know. I said, these are not, you know, all perfect. Guys, you don't have to be perfect. Now, if I didn't know that I was squaring these up, I would be, you know, more concerned. But I know I'm squaring these up and I'm not real concerned. So I said, I'm just going to square it, sew these down. And if I weren't filming, I would just keep on chain piecing. Love my little tool. Alright, so I'm going to press these down to the dark side. And then I want to match them up and make 4 patches. That's it. And I love that I've got this right. All I have to do is I have a chair that spins. So all I have to do is just spin my chair around or stand up and turn around. I'm going to try to roll that just a little bit and then press. And I'm going to make up a whole bunch of these. Just whatever feels, you know, the colors feel right together. This is, granted, I cut up a jelly roll, but this would be a scrap. Remember, there is a difference in ironing and pressing. And once I get these done up, and again, I love this. I could stand if I wanted to. I could stand if I wanted to, or I can sit. That's awesome. So I want 2 inches from the center, because I want these to be a total of, I want these to be a 4 inch by 4 inch. Yep, I haven't left myself enough workspace here, so I need to adjust. And all of that is okay, guys. You make your room and your area what works for you. Ah, there we go. Now it'll all spin. Let's move that over just a little bit more. I have put in new needles. I have put in a new blade in my rotary cutter. So I'm going to put my 2-inch here on this seam and 2-inch on that seam. Oop, don't spin. Not yet. And I love this cutter. I've seen posts about some women, they like to sew barefoot. I'm not one of those people. I have to have my shoes on. But she dropped her rotary cutter and sliced the top of her foot. If she'd had this rotary cutter, that would not have happened. Because when you squeeze it, the blade is out. If you let go of it like you dropped it, the blade would be hidden. So I love my rotary cutter. So I'm just going to cut on each side. I actually had somebody back when we first started doing the sewing videos. She asked me about my shop. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, I don't have a shop. I'm just a fabric quarter. And I just really enjoy the sewing. Alright, so I've got my 2 and my 2. And boom, I have a 4-inch block. I have a 4-inch 4-patch. And my husband made sure that I've got my TV, I have my VCR or DVD player, whatever. I have a stereo boombox. I have music. And I'm going to put this in my stack of finished 4-patches, ready to have the next thing added on. And I have to give a lot of credit to my husband. I don't know if you can see it from here, but he put up a bunch of milk crates for my yarn so that my yarn's not just sitting in tubs and I can't get to it. He did the same thing. We had a bunch of Tidy Cat litter tubs, and those are now up on the wall over the door, and that has a lot of my fleece in it. Again, that way it's accessible, or at least visible. Fine, I have to get a stool to make it accessible. I am a short person. But I can see what I've got, and I can get to it. So thank you to my husband very much for that. I am not going to give you a full tour of the sewing room yet, because it still is, it's not where I want it to be, and things are still not as organized as I want them to be. And it's going to take me a little while, you know. So again, if you are one of those that can spend one afternoon and you have it perfect, I am so envious of you. If you're like me and you work on it a little while and then suddenly your head, you know, you can't think anymore and you're looking at things going, I don't know what to do. Hey, you're not alone. I'm there too. But it is very exciting. I've been able to put up some of my dolls, which I think you can see some of them up there. I have my yarn, I have my dolls, I have my sister-in-law's painting there. Also part of the downstairs in the sewing room are the grow racks. They used to be upstairs in my living room. Now they're down here, and we do have light blocking curtains. Because that's another one we haven't done. We have not grown any microgreens. We have not had a garden. And I have found, with getting older, I don't multitask as well as I used to. I'm using a planner. I'm trying to write things down. I forget. So if you are like me, please don't feel bad. You're not alone. And I will guarantee you, I know I'm not alone. But we'll start showing you little pieces of the room. I'm going to turn the TV on. And I'm going to try to work up a nice handful of 4 patches with my batiks. I don't know why. There's just something about the batiks. I think it's because each one is a little different, you know. They are, it's like a solid and it's like a print, but not. You know, I don't know. I'm just really liking them. And I am excited to see how this is going to turn out. But in the meantime, it's a nice therapy for me. It is a nice way to forget about all the other stuff that's going on. And I can just focus on my fabrics and the pretty colors and enjoy a little bit of time in the basement, in my sewing room. Feel more like myself. Feel like I'm out of a dark place and I'm coming back into a good place. And sewing has always done that for me. So this is something that David calls a lot on his breaks at work, at lunch and things, and he'd called and I could hear it in his voice as he heard the machine going in the background. You know, I'm talking to him, and I have an earpiece, so I can just, you know, put the ear, you know, the thing in my ear, and I can talk to him. It's a hands-free, and you could tell he's like, I hear the machine. He said, it's been a long time since I've heard that. I was like, yeah, we started it up. But it's still going to take me a little while to get all my little pieces together. So bear with me. Wish me luck. I am so glad to be back. And I'm so glad you're here joining me today. Be sure to check out all the things that are coming up. We are going slow and not overwhelm anybody, especially me. And just slowly keep adding and growing. And I have, I'll look on the Facebook Reels and I'll see patterns and things that I really like or color combinations, and I will send them to myself. So I have and I do that with recipes too. So I have a whole bunch of messages I've sent to myself I have to go through and write in a notebook or print out or something. But I'm really looking forward to that. So I've got a lot of things in my head. I want to get back to my stars. I want to get back to the Bible blocks. I want to explore more quilt as you go. Jane had a lot of clothes and t-shirts and things, and I did go and buy the Memory Bear pattern, and I've bought a t-shirt ruler. So I have a lot of things going on. So this has been fun. Had a little bit of camera issue with the batteries. I had to wait till my husband got home. Some of our batteries, I had one get stuck in the camera, so I was dead in the water because the battery was dead. So I spent some time sewing together some more squares. So if anything's kind of off kilter, it's because I was fighting with the camera and the batteries. But what I was trying to say is that it really feels good to be back. It feels really good to be looking at, you know, all my fabrics, and I did just tell my husband, I said, don't be surprised if I don't try to find some more batiks to add to my, you know, squares, because a little bit limiting on the colors, and I'd like to have a little bit more variety. And what I love is he said, whatever you need. Okay, that's fine. Have I got the best husband or what, you know? But we are back, and I think what I was saying was that we are going to take this slow and steady. We're not going to try to rush and do big grandiose things. We're just going to kind of just be ourselves, and do the best job that we can to educate, show you some things, repeat things. I don't mind repeating. I repeat all the time. And I said we're going to go slow and steady. Biggest things, I want to let y'all know how much we appreciate you. We're so glad you are back with us. And I said we are so glad that we are back, and we are very excited. So many things that I want to do, and that's where my planner comes in. And I'll be honest, I used a planner when I was teaching, and you know, you kind of stuck to that for the most part. You know, you make your goals. It's been a long time since I've worked with a planner, and I'm having to relearn. And of course, I'm a different person than I was from, you know, that many years ago. And I guess that's one, is that something I'll be interested in? And looking at how we're planning and how we're trying to relearn how to plan and using a planner. But we want to educate, we want to entertain, take your mind off of all the flibberty-gibberty stuff that's out there in the world. And for my sewist ladies, let you look at all my pretty fabric and see what we can make and create out of that pretty fabric. If you're wanting to learn new things, stay tuned. I am looking at starting a crocheting series. A story behind that, but I'll share that when I make some of the crocheting videos. It's some good memories of my mom. And at no time do I want y'all to ever feel sorry for me. Things are what they are. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And you just keep on going. And that's what we're going to do. But in the meantime, between now and next Thursday Threads, I will be working on making my squares and cutting out my next piece. I'm going to be practicing my quilt as you go. I'm going to be rearranging my dolls and my salt and pepper shakers and my pin cushions. I love the pin cushion dolls. I've wanted to make those. I said I want to get back to my stars. I want to get back to the Bible blocks. I want to get back to the history of quilt making and the meaning behind the names. I want to get back to my book club and reading books that, like the Elm Creek quilt series. Those were so good. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to reread the first 2 books so I can actually read the 3rd book and make a good video about that. So bear with me. It may take me a little bit of time. A lot going on. It's coming into the holidays. Big plans. Step by step. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's very hard. But inch by inch, it's a cinch. So we are going to inch along and try to have as much fun as we can, and hopefully that comes through the camera to you, and you realize that you don't have to do anything complicated and grandiose and whatever. Just take 2 squares and put them together, and then take 2 more squares and put them together. The important thing is that you're having fun and you're learning at the same time. Please be sure to check out the other channel, the Crazy D Ranch and Rabbitry. With the holiday season coming up, please be sure to check out our Amazon store. When if you're buying from Amazon anyway, you know, glance through our store and things. Doesn't add any cost to you whatsoever, but it does help us out a little bit. Be sure to like and share our videos, watch them, and just know how much we appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you next time, right here on Crazy Dave's Crew. Thank you so much for watching, and happy sewing. I'm going to get this turned around, and I'm going to start sewing some more. Ta-da! We already got some going. Oh, I should have pinned that one. That one got slipping. Make sure my husband can hear the sewing machine going.